What up, everybody? Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron. Joe, good morning, sir. Angel, hello. Dem Socialist, what's up? All right, we got some people rolling in. This is Get Your News On with Ron. For anyone not in the know, this is the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. Howdy, howdy. What up, Jordy? LOL fool, what's going on? Good morning, YouTube. Maureen, how are you? I know you tweeted, you already tweeted something. Let me see. Good morning, Kimmy. Good morning, Cassie's. Good morning, Babykins. Good morning, Whiskers Crowley. Good morning, future congressmen. Checking out everybody on the Twitter. What's up, Terrence, if you're out there? Good to see you. I don't know if you can hear it, but the woodpecker that lives in my at my house, I guess, is going nuts. That Jimmy Dore show video that hold on. Hang on, I'm logging into the the Reddit. We have a couple articles over on the Reddit. Yeah, we got a few of them, so we'll go through those. That woodpecker kills me, makes me think you are ignoring somebody. You know, so is Lucy doing construction work today? Lucy is asleep on the bed, but man, is the woodpecker going to town. That Jimmy Dore show segment on Chucky the Shoom that just uploaded was fire. Thank you. You know, Kimmy, when I first moved into this house, coffeeing up, still morning where I'm at, you guys. I did actually, we are almost at 30 already. What's up, Marcus? What's up, Rochambeau? You gonna watch the Bernie Town Hall today? Maybe. I know. Are you referring to the TYT thing? I don't know when exactly it is, but yeah, I'm definitely going to try to watch it. I'm not going to be there, unfortunately, but I will try to watch it. So that's going on. Hello, everybody over on the YouTube. The chats I'm responding to are over on the live me, but nonetheless, good to see everybody. We are at 30. I got to get the guitar, and then we got to officially begin because it's time for the theme song. Anyway, Kimmy, what I was going to say is, like, my first morning in this house, because this woodpecker's been here for over a year, as long as I, Chromatic Tree, how are you, man? Chromatic Tree, I got something to ask you, and you don't have to answer it here on a public forum, but how is your dad, and what's going on with him? You can email me if you need to. Or if you want to, rather, you can just go to ronplacone.com. That's the quickest way to get a hold of me and email me there. But yeah, Kimmy, when I first moved to this house over a year ago, I answered the door multiple times my first morning. I was like, who's doing a knock? Who's doing a knock and dash? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's totally cool. I didn't want to, yeah. I was, you know. But yeah, Kimmy, I totally answered the door like 5 different times, and it was the woodpecker, and I was like, someone's fucking with us. I was really upset. Just go to my website, ronplacone.com, and just email me there, where it says want to contact Ron or something like that. And that's the quickest way to email me. All right, guys, we got to start. Article at Ron Placone. and Ron Placone. Go through it together. We'll make it our own. Get your news on with Ron. You know what's going on. Get my news on today. Oh man, oh right, oh hell yeah. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means you guys tweet me articles, I go through them, and that's how we build the show. I don't have any of this pre-planned. I don't even know what's going on in the world because it's 10 a.m. where I'm at, and in comedian time, that's early as shit. In comedian time, that's like 7 for a normal person, I think. So this is my morning show as far as I'm concerned. I know for some of you, it's the afternoon. And you're like, what the hell are you talking about, Ron? It's like where I'm at, it's 10 in the morning, which is, like really fucking 10 a.m.'s late for some people. I get that, but not me. No, early. That is early. How late do I stay up? I stay up until just whenever my body gives out. No, I last night I stayed up till 2 because I went to a concert. I went to see Lauren Ruth Ward over at the Echoplex, local place here in LA. And by the way, I got to throw this out there. I met Long Beach, one of our regulars that tweets a lot of articles, Long Beach. He lives in the area, hence the name Long Beach. And he heard me talking about Lauren Ruth Ward earlier last week. I was talking about wanting to go to the show. He looked up her music, decided she was great because she is great, and had some friends visiting from out of town anyway. So he went to the show, and I ran into him there. He's like, Ron, I'm here because of you. And I was like, that's freaking awesome. Isn't she great? He was like, yeah. And he said who he was. I was like, that's so freaking cool, man. I don't know if that counts as another Team Plaque One meetup. I don't think it does because we just randomly ran into each other in a public place. But it's still cool nonetheless. Still very cool nonetheless. So Long Beach, got to meet him in person. Very nice guy. Really enjoyed spending some time with him at that show. And man, did Lauren Ruth Ward tear it up. Lauren Ruth Ward tore it up. Check her out. She's freaking great. Hussein sent me a song. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Uppity Bumpkin, we got something from you. Marine, we got something from you. And I think that's where we're going to start. We're going to start with Marine. Yeah, that was the first Get Your News On with Ron submission today. So let's go to Marine first, and then we'll get to, we'll just kind of get to them in order. We also got some stuff over on the Reddit. But I'll try to make sure that people are here first. So we'll do some Twittering, then we'll do some Redditing, and then, yeah, and then that's it. That's the show. I don't know what else. That's kind of, all right. This is from the Houston Chronicle. This is a business article. Do oil companies want to drill in Arctic National Wildlife Refuge? Short drilling season and high cost of development could tamp down interest. I mean, they don't care what it does to the environment. That's not... I would love to see an article where they're like, environmental impact has these CEOs concerned. That's an article we'll never see unless it's in The Onion. All right, but let's... Do oil companies want to drill in Arctic National Wildlife Refuge? Short drilling season and high cost of development could tamp down interest. Congress, in approving a sweeping tax overhaul, opened the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge to oil and gas drilling, betting that energy companies would be willing to brave the harsh conditions of northern Alaska and generate royalties to help offset the cost of tax cuts. You have got to freaking be kidding me. These tax cuts. Ugh. Okay. But lawmakers could be disappointed if the recent history of another patch of oil-rich federal land not far from the ANWR, which is the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, the National Petroleum Reserve, which is NPR Alaska, is any indication, they could be in for a long wait before the money comes rolling in. Oh, these poor oil companies, they're hurting. They're hurting for, I think they need to start a GoFundMe. It's not like they're having record high profits or anything like that, while destroying our environment and paying nothing for the consequences. That's certainly not happening. The Houston Chronicles worry about them. Them Socialist says, when is our next financial collapse? 2021 is my bet. I think we'll see it before then. I think we'll see it before then. I think we'll see it by like 2020 or so. Although I guess 2021. Yeah, no, that's safer. You know what? Just so I'm not on the same page as you, just for different, I'll say 2022. I'll say 2020. Joe says 2019. And I'm gonna go with 2022 because I think like these tax rollouts are kind of slow, but the deregulation of the banks is pretty fast. Ooh, Joe might be right actually. How bad do you think it'll be this time? I think it'll be just as bad as the last one we saw. I think it'll be just as bad as what went down during the Bush years and then after the housing crisis during Obama administrations. I think it will be just as bad. I don't think it'll be worse, but I think it will be just as bad. That's what I think. I hope not. Bernie will be blamed. Kimmy says Bernie will be blamed since he'll be president in 2021. I like that. I like that attitude. I really do. Marcus also guesses 2019. And you know what? I think I was way too conservative. I think you 2019ers are going to be right. But I said 2022 just because of the slowness of the tax overhaul. Now, the deregulation of the banks, that's pretty much instantaneous. So I think you 2019ers are going to be right. I think Club 2019 is gonna rock this poll that we just totally organically started on our own. But yeah, I think it's gonna be 2019. But nonetheless, these poor oil companies, they're hurting in the bank. I mean, they're experiencing the squeeze right now. I mean, if you could maybe start a GoFundMe for some of these oil companies, maybe pass out flyers in your community and be like, hey, if you guys could throw these guys a bone, they're really suffering. Maybe help them out. Maybe put gasoline in your car. You don't do that all the time for survival's sake. It's not like you need to do that all the time and you're just going to do it. You need me to let you know. It's like oil. That's why when people see oil and gas companies advertising on the corporate media, it's like, yeah, you realize they're doing this for favorable coverage, right? You realize they don't need to get the word out. There's something you need to make your car move. They don't need to tell people like, hey, don't forget to buy our shit. No, you're buying their shit. You're buying their shit because you have to. You don't have a choice. I live in Los Angeles. I buy plenty of gasoline. I have to. Otherwise, my car doesn't go. I need to. Someday, I really want to have a choice. I yearn for the day where we're all on electric cars, but we're just not quite there yet. And for my needs, it wouldn't be an efficient thing yet. I think the technology's there. Anyway, these poor oil companies. The lackluster auction is another example that government policy alone won't drive oil and gas production as the price of oil remains the driving factor. All right, counterpoint to this incredibly slanted Houston Chronicle article. All the energy we drill for domestically does not stay here. It goes elsewhere in the world. And the price of gasoline is determined by a worldwide demand, not our domestic demand anyway. So this is just propaganda. Congress is hoping to reap $1.1 billion from the wildlife refuge over the next decade, but the short drilling season and high cost of development in a low price environment, what the fuck does that even mean? I'm not even quite sure. All right. So let's dissect this. We need to go through this slower. By the way, for anyone that's like watching this and not familiar, here's the concept of the show. People tweet me articles and we go through them together. So this is my first time seeing it too. I don't have anything pre-planned. I haven't screened it ahead of time. I'm seeing it for the first time. So we're dissecting it together in a fun communal way. So a low price, all right, high cost of development in a low price environment. I really don't know exactly what that means. A low price environment. Guess what? There's no such thing as a low price environment. There is a high price environment because we are destroying the environment. We're destroying it in a totally irresponsible, and that's putting it gently. I just can't think of a better word right now off the top of my head. A totally irresponsible way. We have a call for environmental stewardship. We are, by definition, a moving virus. By definition, we are a virus. That is what we are as humans. We deplete the resources, and we just kind of suck them dry and then move on to the next plot of Earth. We're a virus. One day, Mother Earth is going to shake us off like a virus. That's just, I think, how this is all going to go down. But in the meantime, we have an obligation to be as sustainable as we possibly can, to take care of Mother Earth as best as we possibly can. And we don't do that. We don't do that because of bullshit like this. All right. So last month, however, on the same day Donald Trump signed the tax bill, the Department of Interior released findings that the NPR Alaska, National Petroleum Reserve Alaska, and surrounding lands contained 8.7 billions of barrels of crude, more than 5 times what was estimated in 2010. That brings it close to the level scientists believe are contained within the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. But even if oil companies buy the leases, they won't necessarily start drilling, said Neil Lawrence, an attorney with the Natural Resources Defense Council and National Environmental Advocacy Group. The industry likes to open up land and lock it up, but that doesn't mean they'll produce on it. So we'll see. I mean, I have a feeling that, they're always going to drill, baby, drill, unless there's some kind of cost prohibitive thing. And it looks like there is in this case. It's a low drilling season. They might not be able to maximize their production. So we'll see. But if they don't do it, it's only because of economic reasons and profit incentives. It's certainly not because they feel any kind of environmental obligation. They don't. They could care less. It's all just widgets. It's all just numbers to them. Earth equals a host, forever voting third party points out. And speaking of which, Cody, thank you so much for the sunny face. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Cody. And this is from Uppity Bumpkin. And this looks like some pretty sad news here. And this is from today. If we're going to force you to buy gas, we'll have to charge you more. Yep, exactly. Oh, wow, guys. Okay. This is not happy news at all. There was a school shooting in Kentucky, apparently. All right, let's see what happened. This is my first time seeing this because this was just tweeted to me. So let's unpack this. This is from 11:58 a.m. Eastern Time on today. So this article is just like an hour or so old. A little older than that, but yeah. Well, no, approximately an hour old. Kentucky school shooting, 1 dead after gunfire erupts at Marshall County High School. 1 person was dead and multiple others were wounded Tuesday when gunfire erupted at a Kentucky high school, prompting panicked students to run for their lives. Wow. Marshall County High School in Benton was on lockdown and a suspect was in custody as paramedics tended to the injured and wounded, state police reported. Meanwhile, teacher and counselors tried to calm terrified students as parents and relatives raced to the scene to collect the kids. They were busting down the gates and fences just to get out. So junior Greg Rogers said when he arrived at school, he saw students racing out of the building. I pulled off to the side of the road because everyone was running to the main road, Rogers, 17, said. I asked my friend what was going on, and he told me there was a school shooting. I was shocked. He said that someone had just shot up the school. Roger said the suspect opened fire as students were heading to classes. I'm distraught from all of it. I couldn't really focus driving home. Thompson said her 15-year-old brother, Sean, who's a freshman, called her from the school in a complete panic around 8:02 a.m. So this was the start of the school day that this happened. He was yelling, someone's shooting, someone's shooting. Thompson said her 16-year-old sister, Kristen, who was a sophomore, was in the commons area near the cafeteria. She said Kristen told her one of the bullets pierced her friend's backpack, but he was not hurt. He will cherish that backpack forever. I mean, really, I'm not trying to make a joke. Like, I'm being sincere. Like, he will cherish that freaking backpack forever. If that backpack took a bullet and it did not pierce his skin, holy shit, he will. I'd imagine it like kind of grazed it from the side, so it like wasn't heading directly for him anyway. So I'd imagine if it was like a straight on like back shot, it would have just pierced the backpack and still hit him. That's what I would imagine. But nonetheless, I mean, maybe he had a ton of freaking books in that backpack. But either way, yeah, he'll cherish that backpack forever. He'll never use it again, but he will cherish it forever. Thank you for the star points, Marine. I appreciate that very much. There's lots of parents crying. It's a very bad situation, much yet unknown. So as of the recording of this, we don't know. We know that one is dead. That's what we know so far. One's dead. And I don't see a report here on the injured, so that might not be available yet as of the recording of this. That might not be available yet. Oh! And my voice cracks, but my voice will crack. Benton is a city of about 4,300 people in western Kentucky, about 120 miles northwest of Nashville, Tennessee. It is also about 40 miles southeast of West Paducah, Kentucky. The school shooting comes just one day after a 15-year-old girl was wounded at Italy High School in Texas. It's an interesting name for a high school. After a 16-year-old suspect opened fire inside the cafeteria, no motive in that incident was immediately given. Italy High School in Texas. That's interesting. Wow. So just one day after another school shooting happened in Texas. So it's a daily occurrence now, school shootings. And I can't wait for people in the media to say now's not the time to talk about gun control. Now's not the time to talk about a more common sense approach to gun control in this country, where we are the only country that has these types of problems. We're also pretty much the only country where if you have a pulse, you can buy a gun legally. And we're among the only countries where this is a problem. No other countries that are as developed as ours, that you know, have the amount of wealth that we do, have these types of issues. So I can't wait to hear. I mean, what else can you say about this? I mean, it's like nothing's ever done, and nothing's ever going to be done as long as the NRA has the stronghold on Congress that they have. And they have an incredible amount of power. They're a shrinking organization. But nonetheless, they still have this incredible influence on our politics. I mean, if the NRA's cause was universal single-payer healthcare, we'd have it in a day. Instead, their cause is, hey, we want everybody to have a gun. I mean, even the most softball common sense weapons policy gets shot down. No pun intended. And here we go. Now school shootings are a daily occurrence. A daily occurrence. Unreal. So this is from Hussein. Let's see what this is. Major ad firm Outfront Media censors free Ahed Tamimi billboard. Why is Israel terrified of a 16-year-old Palestinian girl? And I know a lot of you guys are familiar with the Ahed Tamimi case. She is still being detained. All for standing up to forces that were on her family's property. That's why she's being obtained. Before we get into this, I'll go to a couple. I'll go to a couple thoughts. What's up? Why the Democrats folded? That's a great question. They folded because they're weak and they're picked to be that way. Honestly, I mean, there's no other explanation. As far as a political move, it was the worst political move they could make. The Republicans were backed into the corner. Nobody liked the Republicans or Trump in this situation. Everybody was blaming the Republicans and Trump in this situation. 86% of Americans favor DACA, even Trump supporters. A lot of them, not all of them. Some of them don't. You know, some of them just don't favor that, but some of them do. That's how popular it is. and Democrats still rolled over. Instead of going to the people saying, hey, we're demanding DACA because we need to, and the Republicans aren't budging, it would have been, I mean, it would have pretty much assured a bloodbath in 2018, but instead the Democrats caved. Instead, the Democrats caved, I guess, to look like, hey, look, we're fixing things, bipartisanship, like, it was a terrible move politically. All the Democrats did is they helped the public image. For themselves? No, for the Republicans. Because they're pathetic. They are absolutely pathetic. We don't have two parties in this country. We have one. We have the money party. That's what we have. And I mean, if you think otherwise, I really, in some ways, I envy your naivety. But, you know, I mean, how many slaps in the face can you take from the Democratic Party before you realize? I mean, we have two parties in this country. We have a party that offers nothing, that does nothing, and we have a party that does terrible things. We have a fringe right-wing party that is just corrupted to the T, makes no apologies about it, and is out there to hurt people. The Republicans, their goal is to hurt poor people. Like literally, like they give you a healthcare bill that strips healthcare away from millions. It's an anti-healthcare bill. They give a tax bill that benefits the 1%. That's it. And it crushes over the years. It will crush poor people. What does it do for the middle class? It doesn't matter because we don't have one anymore. We don't have a middle class anymore. Money party is correct. People vote with their wallets. Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of people do. We got the money party. A major U.S. ad firm is refusing to put up a billboard calling for the release of Ahad Tamimi, the Palestinian girl who is in indefinite military custody for challenging Israeli occupation forces on her family's property. Ahad, 16, was detained in a night raid in the occupied West Bank village of Nabi Saleh a month ago after video circulated showing her and a cousin slapping and shoving two heavily armed Israeli soldiers following an incident in which a soldier had shot in the head and seriously injured their 15-year-old cousin. Them socialist points out we're plutocratic. I agree. We are by definition a plutocracy. Outraged by a perceived insult, Israeli leaders are now vowing revenge. So they're putting a 16-year-old girl in custody. They're bullying a 16-year-old girl. We're going to have revenge. We're going to brutalize a 16-year-old girl. Ahad's persecution by Israel had rallied supporters of Palestinian rights all over the world. Why didn't it just rally supporters of human rights all over the world? Why can't you oppose this action? Why can't you say this is an abuse of power? This is wrong. Why can't a general person just say that? Why does it have to be, oh, you're a Palestinian supporter or you're an Israeli supporter? Why can't it be, I don't support the actions when a government oppresses somebody and when the person with the most power uses that violently against another group that doesn't have power? I don't support that. But I support the people in both countries. I support the human beings in both countries. And I want a peaceful diplomatic solution. And this girl deserves to have her freedom. This girl's family has been brutalized by Israeli forces. She doesn't deserve to be locked up right now. I don't support, Cody says, I don't support genocide. Why is that? Why are you on one side or the other if you don't support genocide? That's something all human beings should do. And that's not oversimplifying something. That's being like, no, you can oppose in the same manner where you can oppose the actions of the American government. I oppose the actions of the American government. That doesn't make me anti-American. I live here. This is my home. This is where I live. But I oppose the oppressive actions our government takes around the world. I oppose our economy of war. I oppose our overextension of our military. I oppose the actions of this administration. That doesn't mean I oppose the people that live here. So that's a shame that they're not willing to let people exercise their First Amendment rights while simultaneously raising awareness about an issue. And I hate that phrase. I hate the raising awareness, but because it doesn't do anything. Like it, in most cases, it doesn't do anything. But a lot of people do not know who this young lady is. A lot of people have no idea. And a lot of people, if they heard her story, especially younger people, they might have a greater, they might develop a well-rounded perspective on this very, very tragic event that's going on in Israel and Palestine. Cody, who is a Native American, says Palestine is a perfect example of what happened to my people. Reservations are exactly what Palestinians live on. Forever voting third party. Great point, Cody. I agree. Great point, Cody. So that's a shame that they won't let this billboard, because I think this is a story that needs to be told. You need to know what oppressive things are going on, and you need to have that frame your perspective where it's like, yeah, I'm not against any country over the other. I'm against what these oppressive forces are doing. That's what I'm against. I don't understand how that's such, even in progressive circles, that's such a crazy concept. It's not. I oppose genocide. I oppose oppression. I oppose military might by the person with the power. I oppose that. I oppose it by any group of people. Whether it's Israel, whether it's the U.S., which, by the way, funds Israel. We give them all kinds of money so that they can have a better healthcare system than we do. They have single payer in Israel. And we don't pay for it. We don't have it here. That's awesome. Dale says, you won't hear about this story on TV. Thanks, Ron. Don't thank me. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the person. Hussein tweeted this. Thank Hussein. Don't thank me. I mean, I appreciate it. Thank you, Dale. But thank Hussein. This is Get Your News On with Ron. And if anyone's just tuning in, and this is your first time, this is the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means you guys tweet me articles, and that's how we go through it. So you guys are the executive producers of this show. You guys executive produce the show. And guys, I do have to say this, though. If you have not tweeted an article yet, please do not do so. We still have a lot to get through, and we're not gonna get through it all. So if you haven't tweeted something yet, please don't do so, because we won't get to it today. Because yeah, we still have a lot of articles, and that's great. But yeah, we're definitely. I'm scrolling through it now, and we still have to bounce over to the Twitter. Hopefully, we have time. Yeah. Terrence says he's having he's watching live on the Roku, and his computer is having issues letting the video play. Lame. All right. So let's get to our next story. You got my Facebook article from around 9. If we can't do it, it's fine. Why tweet it to me instead? Because I can't. I don't have Facebook open because I already have so many windows open on this freaking thing. So and plus my camera's going. So if I have too many windows open, it's just gonna make everything go really slow. So tweet me the article instead if you can. What's up, Steve? Probably a Roku problem. I can watch you on Chromecast fine. Thank you, Joe. Good to know. So yeah, Kimmy, if you can, tweet me the article instead. That would be way better. That would be way, 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 way better. Let's see here. What's next? All right, here's some weird news from Marcus. Thank you, Marcus. Let me go ahead and give you a Get Your News On with Ron retweet. Mystery as man shot dead by his own dog in a freak hunting accident. Yikes. Okay. A hunter has been shot dead by his own dog in a freak accident, which happened when the animal jumped up at its master and got its claws caught in the rifle's trigger. Yikes. Cody, thank you so much for the sunny face. Sergei Terekov, who's 53, had let his two dogs out of his Lada car before a hunting expedition in Russia's remote southeastern Saratov region. But one of the animals suddenly jumped up to him and accidentally pulled the trigger. The bullet hit him in the abdomen, and he collapsed on the frozen ground. Friends rushed him to the hospital, but doctors were unable to save him. Wow. That is crazy. That the dog... And it pretty much takes... I actually learned this, because I don't use guns. I don't really... I actually do technically own a gun, which is kind of... anyone heard of a safety? Yeah, Dale. I don't know why that guy's safety wasn't on. Especially, yeah, I don't know. But I learned this when we were covering the Columbus story from last week, where we talked about the teenager that was shot dead in the courtroom. Oh, by the way, he was shot. By the way, if anybody, because there were some people in the comments that were like, well, we don't know what happened yet. Like, no, he was shot. He was shot. I mean, I know they gave that bullshit fluff story that was so, oh, I think that he fell and his gun somehow disappeared. No, he shot the guy. He shot the guy. More came to the surface. He shot the guy. They never apologized for lying. They never even called it out again. But he shot that kid. By the way, and some of the people on Twitter that were tweeting me saying that I don't know what happened yet. It might have discharged. No, he shot the guy. He shot the guy. And the truth, once there were some videos out and some sound footage, they couldn't lie anymore. So they told the truth. He shot the kid. He shot an unarmed 16-year-old kid. No, the way I'm a gun owner is my grandfather left me a gun when he died. So I just have it like, well, I don't have it. My parents have it. I don't even have it with me. My parents live in Pittsburgh, and the gun is somewhere in their attic. But technically it is mine, and I own it. So that's why I am, by definition, a gun owner. But it's like it's a very weird manner in which I'm a gun owner. And I'm not against people hunting deer. I'm not against people owning a handgun or a hunting rifle. What I am against is the type of weapons people can get their hands on. I am against the manner in which, in some states they have reasonable backgrounds. In other states, if you have a pulse, you can walk out with a gun. I am against, these gun shows where there's just totally unregulated sales. I am against the sale of magazines. I am against. So, I'm not against somebody being a responsible gun owner. I am against the way weapons policy and gun policy is completely unreasonable in this country. That's what I'm against. And I'm certainly against dogs shooting their owners. Sorry to get off on a tangent. That's really messed up. And I guess it makes sense that something like that could easily happen, because what I learned from the Columbus, apparently it usually takes about 2 to 7 pounds of force to shoot the gun. Like, it's not like it's just like if it gets bumped, boom, it's gonna, like, it takes 2 to 7 pounds on average of force. That's what somebody sent me that information. That's a pretty big gun enthusiast. And maybe some of you guys on the chat that have more experiences with guns, You can tell I'm not a gun person just by the way I'm talking. Some of you guys have more experiences with the gun. Some of you guys that go bang, bang, and then dinner served. Some of you guys, clearly, I don't. One of my buddies who is a dear friend of mine, but our backgrounds are quite different. You know, he grew up in rural Pennsylvania, and you know, kind of it's normal to go shooting after breakfast. You know, we have a lot of differences, but we are still dear friends despite that. He took me out shooting one morning when I was at his house, or his parents' house rather. But and that's the only time I shot a gun, and I wasn't very good at it. But I did it. I was like, ah. And my girlfriend at the time, I showed her the video. She got really upset. She was not even a fan that happened at all. I was like, look what I did. And she was just like, I'm not, you're an idiot. I was like, but I'm fine. She's like, you're an idiot. And I was like, okay. So anyway, Bella Ryan, thank you so much for the wand. So yeah, this is a really sad thing, but yeah, you gotta be careful. I don't know what else to say. You know, I mean, that's really messed up, and people got to express caution. I mean, this guy wasn't necessarily an irresponsible gun owner. He was hunting. He had his gun with him to hunt. He was in a place where hunting was what was going on, right? But man, this happened. Really sad. So what is this? All right, somebody sent me some information about an event. That's not really a Get Your News On with Ron thing. Good morning, Bella. So yeah, I feel really bad for that guy. Really sad. This is from DC 420, and it's a story about 420, if you will. So we'll go there next. We're going to talk a little drug policy now. Here in California, we just legalized it completely for recreation. It's been legal for me for a while because I get headaches, but you know, now it's legal for everybody. Vermont makes history by legalizing marijuana, but its law comes with a catch. This is from the Huffington Post. Vermont became the 9th state to legalize weed and the first to do it through legislation, but don't expect recreational cannabis sales anytime soon. For the first time, a U.S. state has legalized marijuana with the stroke of a pen, not a vote at the ballot box. Oh, interesting. Vermont Governor Phil Scott, who's a Republican, on Monday signed into law House Bill 511, which legalizes the possession of up to 1 ounce of cannabis and removes penalties for possession of up to 2 mature marijuana plants and up to 4 amateur plants. Legislation says nothing about creating a state market, however, so the new law will go into effect in July. Today, with mixed emotions, I have signed H5111, said Scott in a statement addressed to the General Assembly. I have mixed emotions because, well, it is the right thing to do, and, well, our drug policy is totally outdated, going back to the 30s. I'm a Republican, and I really like the prison industrial complex. I get money from the for-profit prison industry, and I could care less about anybody who isn't rich. I think I paraphrased his actual words, but that's the gist of it. I personally believe that what adults do behind closed door and on private property is their choice, so long as it does not negatively impact the health and safety of others, especially children. So Vermont will join 8 other legal weed states, how the article puts it, legal weed states, as well as Washington, D.C., in a growing movement away from a federal law that is grossly outdated and should have been done away with years and 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 years ago. The only reason the pot is a Class A drug in the first place is because of a propaganda film called Reefer Madness. Going back to about the 30s, we based our drug policy off of propaganda films that are made in black and white years and years and years ago. That's how outdated we are, but the DEA doesn't care. Why? Because there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money in keeping pot a Class A drug. A lot of money. A lot of nonviolent offenders that they can just throw in jail and not give a shit, and then take advantage of their prison labor, which is a modern-day form of slavery. That's what's really going on. That's what's really going on. So when you hear anybody being like, well, I mean, pot, we need more research done, like Chelsea Clinton said that. We need to know more research. No, we don't. No, we do not. It has medical benefits. It is not a gateway drug to anything. It is a less harmful drug than alcohol. And the only reason it's a Class A drug, which means it has no redeeming qualities and it is just as bad for you as heroin. If anybody believes that to be the case about pot, you are just Wrong. Like there's no other, like there's no room for debate or discussion. You're wrong. That's just not true. That's like saying, well, you know, we don't know for sure that broccoli is any more healthy than a candy bar. No, we know for sure broccoli is more freaking healthy than a candy bar. We know that. Like, it's not, no one can really dispute that. No one, I mean, all right. I'm probably preaching to the choir here, but we're repeating it anyway. Some Republicans feel vulnerable if they support this kind of legislation. That's according to some Zuckerberg guy. Who cares? I don't care if Republicans feel vulnerable. I don't care. Why do I care? Why do I care about a Republican's feelings in this situation? Why do I give two shits about how a Republican is or isn't concerned politically? In this case, they were forced to do the right thing. Good. Bella Ryan points out Big Pharma plays a role, I think, too. Yes, they do. Absolutely. Because they'd rather prescribe pain medication than prescribe pot. They know it's easier to regulate that, and there's more profit in that. So, yeah, Big Pharma gave a lot of money over the years to keep pot designated as a Class A drug. That is very true. The American drug war is the best use of propaganda that I've ever seen in this country. The American, I mean, it is amazing what they got away with. My roommate's awake. He says he's going to go buy broccoli Fiarta. This is pretty monumental. Pasta usually doesn't get up before 4 p.m. So it's good to see him surfacing and rummaging about. Bella Ryan, I actually helped to launch a cannabis company a few years ago. Good for you. That's awesome. Cody says poor Republicans. I like it. Thanks for the share, Ron. DC 420 LA. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that article. Marcus says this reminds him of DACA. Yeah, where the Republicans are. Well, it's not. The best was, the best thing in regards to DACA, to kind of switch over for a minute here. And thank you very much for that article, DC 420. That's a very interesting article. We'll see what they do with it, since they don't have a plan to have commerce. And guys, we only have room for a few more articles, and then we got to sign off. Unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to get to everybody, but I'm going to get to as much as I can. But yeah, real quick on DACA. The best was when the Democrats were saying that part of the reason they did what they did is because they were worried about the public opinion shifting on DACA. What a fucking soft nonsense. All right, so 86% of people support DACA. All right, 86%. Are there some people that are really opposed to it? Yeah. But there's people that are just against undocumented workers no matter what. They basically want to blame other people for their problems, and they're going to do that no matter what. Those are the people you're not going to win over, and Democrats are saying they're worried about them. I mean, hey, guys, we're not going to stick up for you when we promised we would. When we promised we would. We made this promise to you so that we got your votes, and we got your votes. We got your votes. And now we're going to backpedal on that promise we made because we're worried that people won't like you as much. What a load of bullshit. That is spoken like a true manipulative bully. And I have no idea if there's any DACA recipients or any, like, if you're watching right now. But if you are, know that the Democrats don't have your back and the Republicans don't have your back. You don't have anybody in power that speaks for you. And that really sucks. You have movements that speak for you. You have the people that want to help you. That's who you have. You have the populace. You have 86% of American citizens. You have 86% of us. But you certainly don't have anyone in power because we don't have a government that works for us. That's not what the government does. This is not a representative republic. Forever voting third party has to go. Goodbye. Thank you so much for the article and for your participation. That was our breaking piece today. Our breaking piece on today's stream was there was another school shooting. And it's par for the course. We had one in 2 days. There was one in Texas yesterday. There's one in Kentucky today. All right. Marcus says Dems are no different than Trump. Marcus, they talk nicer. Dems talk nicer, and they lead with their values, and they're for good things, not bad things. Didn't you get the memo? Didn't you read The Better Deal, which they co-wrote with the Papa John's guy? How can you say that? Oh, man. PBS NewsHour, that's what this article's from. Cody sent it. The website PBS NewsHour would like to send you push notifications. No! I don't want your notifications, PBS. I don't want you to know where I am. All right, so this is from Cody. Cody is a Native American. He is an activist, and someday he is going to be in public office. And I'm not saying that in a sarcastic way. I'm saying that because I know that that is a goal of his, and he is a brilliant person, and he's going to get there. He is going to be an elected official someday, and he's going to be one of the good ones. And, you know, the good ones are few and far between, but every now and again you see somebody like Cody that wants to commit themselves to public service and is more than qualified to do it, and you can't help but root for them. You will, Cody. I bet, I guarantee it, you will. I promise you, you will. I don't know exactly what it'll be. You might be in Senate. You might be in Congress. You might be just a city official. And not just, I don't mean it like that. I just mean, you know, maybe more local is for you. You might be a mayor, but you will definitely be doing something. You may just be a dude that shows up to a city council meeting drunk and yells at people, but you're going to do something. You're going to do more than that, I promise. That's all I'm going to do. That's me. That's going to be me. Which, by the way, next Monday, if anybody is in Southern California here, yes, I am showing up next Monday to Pasadena City Council to make the case for municipal internet here in Pasadena. I've met with some activists in the area. I've met with some other progressives in the area. They are preparing their statements as well. We're going to go to the city council meeting. We're going to give our comments. We're going to see what options may exist for municipal internet in Pasadena. And then afterwards, we're going to the Old Town Pub where I'm going to play a set of tunes. Old Town Pub is one of my favorite punk bars in Pasadena. Monday night, be there. Monday night, be there if you are in the area. I understand a lot of you guys aren't. But for those of you that are in the Los Angeles area, come to the town hall if you're able to. Come to the show. Everything is free. Everything is totally free of charge. So come out for a fun night of activism music. And I have a Facebook page, a Facebook event about it. I will tweet that out today. All right. So I'll try to make sure I'm in the area. Cisco, yeah, please do, man. Come out. You've been to Old Town Pub before, so you know the drill. All right, I'll close with the Revolution song. Guys, unfortunately, this is going to have to be our last article. I need to end on time today because some of you guys may know there is a yes, Marcus, apparently Montana did repeal net neutrality. And yeah, I'll definitely do a story about that this week for sure. Somebody's going to tweet it to me. I have confidence. Marcus, you're going to be the guy. Tweet it to me tomorrow. But guys, I do have to end promptly at 11 today because some of you guys know there's a Bernie town hall going on over at TYT. And Mr. Jimmy Dore is busy because of that. So we need to do our thing a little bit earlier today. So I do need to end promptly at 11. Unfortunately, we are going to have to end with Cody's article. For anybody I get to, I am so sorry. Please understand, I get to as many as I can. We didn't get to the Reddit, but I will start with the Reddit tomorrow. And if the people are there, we will start with those articles. And also, Marcus, send me something on Montana and net neutrality because I really do want to cover that. And I will try to get to as much as I can. If you tweeted an article and I did not get to it, tweet it to me again tomorrow, please. And I'm really sorry I didn't get to it. But, you know, the show's been growing, which is amazing. And that's an issue we have been having. At some point, I would like to extend to 2 hours. And I guess I'll take a quick moment. How can you help me extend to 2 hours? Well, you can join the Patreon. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. You can give it any level you're comfortable with for as little as $1 a month. You get an exclusive podcast. You get videos. You get writings. You get free tickets to any of my shows. when I'm performing in your town. And we got some tour dates coming up. Me and Graham Elwood got some tour dates coming up. I got some solo tour dates. I got some house shows coming up. Any of those shows are free for patrons. So if you are a patron, you get to go to any show of mine you want for free. Those are some of the benefits you get for being a patron and joining Team Plaque One. And guys, I am really close to my goal of getting t-shirts made. Some of the patrons that were early, they're going to get a t-shirt in the mail. I'm really close to that goal. So if you're able to, please consider becoming a patron. You can give as low as $1 a month. That's it. That's less than a cup of coffee a month. Please do consider it. All right. Cody's article. Then I'm going to play the Revolution song by request. At women's marches, a spotlight is missing on murdered indigenous women. In a sea of pink pussy hats, this is from PBS, by the way. I'm sure they were so excited they got to write pussy hats in an article. Oh boy! Worn at women's march events nationwide, it was the color red that stood out most for Native Americans and their allies this weekend. In cities across the country, family and friends marked the occasion by spotlighting the scores of missing and murdered indigenous women, girls, and transgender people. Cases that, for decades, have mostly gone unsolved. There was actually a movie about this recently. I forget the name of. But it was a movie. It was a fictional movie, but it was based on some events that did happen. And they pointed out how there's no documentation of murdered indigenous women. There's no official documentation of that. We don't know the exact number of how many indigenous women have gone missing and how many have been murdered. Yeah, let that sink in. That's insane. In Phoenix, Bella Ryan points out natives have been invisible people. Cody Jock, a native himself, says it's horrid. In Phoenix, Arizona, Joan marched among tall red banners marked with the name of her sister, Nicole. She died in a domestic violence dispute on Christmas Day, and so far, her accused killer has not been charged. A steady drumbeat kept pace against a backdrop of anti-Trump chants, but for Jo, her cause for marching on this morning gripped at an issue that goes generations deep. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that there were people there representing that cause. I'm very glad to hear that. And I'm not the person most qualified to talk about this. I'm really not. But one thing that I've been told by some colleagues of mine that are stronger activists than I can ever be, that have committed themselves to public service in a way that I can just applaud them for. You know, I certainly can't say I've done anything near the magnitude of them. And they are people of color and they are feminists. They have pointed out to me, Bella Ryan, you are Blackfoot. That's awesome. They have pointed out to me that, you know, while they know the Women's March to be a great thing, and it is, they have pointed out the kind of whiteness of it all, and how it's kind of limited to, you know, the overall, it's kind of just limited to, hey, Trump's really bad and we were fine until he got here. Well, we weren't fine until he got here. There's a lot of issues that are going underrepresented, and Trump is a result of the tragic disease of our political and economic systems and our systems of oppression that apply to the most marginalized among us, you know, the Native Americans, indigenous women, women of color, and yes, of course, white women too. But it's not just, hey, I'm upper middle class and I don't like Trump. You know, I mean, that's not the movement. It's got to go deeper than that. And, you know, the pink hats is, you know, one of my friends pointed out to me, and, you know, the pink hats, mine doesn't look like that. Why aren't we seeing more purple hats? You know, mine doesn't look like that. I mean, she said that to me. That's not me saying. I'm white. But, you know, she said mine doesn't look like that. Where are my hats? Why were my hats not made? She made her own hat. And I applaud her for it. Would this nuance fall under intersectional feminism? Yeah, I think in many ways, yes. Yeah, I would say yes. And I mean, I'm really glad there were some people there displaying red for indigenous women. I'm glad that was represented. But, you know, how often, and I'm sure it was represented with open arms, at least I certainly hope it was. But yeah, it's good to see that. And hopefully all of this, to try to end on a just kind of positive message note here, hopefully all of this will kind of wake us up more to all of our brothers and sisters in the planet, on the planet. I mean, hopefully Trump has, I mean, it certainly caused an awakening that I've never seen in my lifetime. I mean, the first, Cody says he was there singing traditional songs that honor women. That's awesome, Cody. Bella Ryan. Rights are rights, but let's look at indigenous treatment from the beginning. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's something we need to do, and it's long overdue, and that's an understatement. But hopefully Trump has, I mean, the last big awakening in my lifetime was Iraq. Iraq rattled a lot of people because they were like, why the fuck are we over there? Oh, we're over there because Bush is a liar. Trump is the next big awakening, and I would say it's even more powerful than Iraq was, just as far as stirring people up, which is a good thing. And hopefully it stirs us up in the right way, where we don't just try to get a Democrat back in the White House and then go to sleep again, but where we're really in tune to a lot of the issues affecting those in our society, especially the most marginalized, and how we have a long way to go. Trump hates Native. This is Cody. Trump hates Native people. He attacked my tribe and paid for a hit piece. We need to understand what issues are and resonate with the land and legal system. Marcus points out people like Bush more now. Well, we kind of have a bit of selective amnesia when it comes to the media cycle and when it comes to our status quo and our populace, where all of a sudden Bush is no longer a war criminal. He's just a harmless old guy that paints. He's still a war criminal, and he has no right wagging his finger at anyone, nor do I understand why ethics lawyers from his administration are quote-unquote progressive pundits now. They're not. They're not progressives, nor are they pundits, nor do they have any business wagging their finger at anybody. They should all be in jail. George Bush, Dick Cheney, they should all be in jail. So we do have selective forgetfulness, and that's another problem to add to the heaping pile that we got. But hopefully the younger generation is really waking up, and they're really getting engaged. There's been some studies on that where the generation just after millennials, holy shit, have they woken up. And we need to see that continue. And hopefully this all leads to some more positive actions in making a better society for all of us. I know that's kind of like a vague cliche to end on, but I don't know how else to kind of put a bow on it. But Cody, thank you so much for sharing that article. I am very glad to hear that Indigenous peoples were represented at the march, but we certainly need more of it. Does Generation Z lean left or right? I would say left. I mean, just big picture. I mean, every generation is typically more progressive than the last. So, guys, we are totally out of time. I do need to go. And by request. And by the way, I will be playing this song on Monday. If anyone can go, over in Pasadena, Old Town Pub, 9 p.m. I'll send you off with a tune. Doing the same things, making differences. What it means to be insane. Having to choose between pure and more. Is that what it means to play the game? Why does it put your mind at ease? To ignore this big disease. Why do you like to sit and pretend? When you always know the end. Go tell the DNC, go tell the CIA. It's time for a revolution. Go tell the DSA to the USA. It's time for a revolution. Throwing you a single crumb. It's not what it means to compromise. Some college trained rhetoric. revolution. We'll tell the NSA, stop listening to what we say. It's not the revolution. Washington said that love's the answer. This girl knows that to be true. Cause I'm not ready to give up yet. Long as it's still in you. So I'll tell the BBC, I'll tell the CIA. It's time for revolution. I'll tell the DSA, DPSA. It's time for revolution. Get your news on, Ron. Wanna know what's going on? Get your news on today. Get your news on, Ron. Wanna know what's going on? Let's hope they don't start World War III. Tweet me an article at Placone. We'll go through it together. We'll make it our own. Get your news on, Ron. Wanna know what's going on? Get my news on today. This is the Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. Tweet me an article at Ron Placone. That's how we do this. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone. RonPlacone.com. Find out when I'm coming to a city near you. By the way, the live Jimmy Dore show is coming to Austin, Texas, March 25th. We got some more dates coming soon. Portland, Oregon, we're coming back. So I will have a lot of show announcements soon. Long Beach, thank you for the likes. I don't know if you were on at the beginning, but I said how cool it was meeting you and that we had a really fun conversation. Patreon.com/Ron Placone if you are so able. I am really close to getting those t-shirts made. I love you all very much. I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I love you all very much. Peace.